Hi, everyone. Um, Boy, I really do apologize. Um, I've had the worst time ever. I've had the worst time ever trying to share this video, but here it is, and here we go. Hello, everyone. I have just arrived at the Lake Placid Camp and Conference Center. I've got my hoodie on because it's windy out and I don't want the wind, to get all in the mic and just distort the audio because I want it to be as crisp and clean as it can be. But 30 years ago today, 30 years ago today, I drove through this entrance and met the love of my life, Angela. And our love story and our love journey began 30 years ago today. However, the journey didn't begin right here on these grounds. It began in New Jersey. Check this out. It was fairly early in the morning, one August day, 1991. My children and I were just concluding devotion that I gave that morning. And in fact, we were on our knees. I was praying and I was concluding the prayer when, in the midst of my prayer, the phone rang. Got up off my knees. I answered the phone. The gentleman on the other side said, Hi, may I speak to Pastor Legette, please? I said, speaking. He said, hi, Pastor Legette. I am Elder S.J. Jackson, Family Life Director for the Southeastern Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. How are you doing? I said, I'm great. He said, I was recommended to you by Dr. A.R. Jones, your Family Life Director for the Allegheny East Conference. He said, and in the past, Elder Jackson said, I had invited male speakers, and some of them were pastors, who were married, and the ladies let me know that they were not happy. So I called Dr. Jones, and I asked him to recommend a single pastor who could come and be one of our presenters. And he recommended you. So I'm calling you to find out if you would be willing to come and be one of our presenters for our singles retreat, November 8, 9, and 10 of this year in 3 months. I said, of course. So from that day until the second weekend of November, he and I corresponded back and forth. And he sent me flight information, and I sent him the outlines of all of the presentations that I was going to do that weekend. And as the second weekend of November approached, as we got closer to it, I became more and more excited, confident, and ready. It was about 6 a.m. Friday morning, November 8th, 1991. I was in bed asleep when I was startled by an incoming phone call. I answered the call. It was my girlfriend. The call didn't go well. We ended the relationship on that call. So I got up and I sat on the side of the bed contemplating what had just happened and contemplating what was about to happen later that day. You see, I was about to board a plane and fly into Orlando, be picked up by Elder Jackson, and he, Janice Brown, the other presenter for the weekend, and I were going to drive the 2 hours to the Maranatha Conference Center, which is what it was known by at the time. It is now had a name change and is known as the Lake Placid Camp and Conference Center. But before I arrived, I knew that emotionally I needed a game plan for me. So I had a long talk with Frank Legette. I talked, he listened. Here's what I said. I said, Frank, you're going to go down to the singles retreat and you're going to meet some great people, particularly some incredible women. And because you're a friendly guy, because you're going to mix and you're going to mingle and you're going to meet people easily, you're going to laugh, you're going to have an incredible time. But you're not coming back with any phone numbers from any of those women. You're not going to pursue any of them. You're not going to be contemplating when you come back to New Jersey, you're not contemplating going into a relationship with any of them because you need time just for yourself. And you are going to take that time. And I agreed to the plan. I got up, showered, headed to the airport with that plan in place. And I want to tell you that I want to tell you, and I can say it proudly and boldly, that I followed that plan to perfection. I'm so proud of myself. I followed that plan to perfection until Friday night. Elder Jackson starts off the very first session, and then he brings on the conference president, Elder Jackson Doggett Sr., who does a devotional for us, and then he introduces me, and I stand up, and I am presenting my very first presentation. I'm talking about win-win and other. I had a 10-point presentation. And so I can see from my vantage point all of the individuals who are just arriving. And she walked in to my left. And she walked in, and I followed her with my eyes, and I locked on her until she sat down. I don't know, I may have been blatantly obvious, but I never stopped talking. But I absolutely was checking her out, and I said to myself, who is that? I have got to meet this sister. And I was definitely going to do that. With tray in hand, I'm coming into the calf, and I'm seeing all the singles, but I'm not looking for all the singles. I'm looking for one person. I'm looking for Angela. And I find her. She's sitting at the back row, at the back long table. She's sitting right on the edge of the table. So I walk up and I sit as close to her as I can possibly get. Why? I got questions. Is she as nice as she appears to be? Does she have a sense of humor? Does she have a boyfriend? Does she laugh? All of those questions are terribly important. And I sat there and I watched and I talked and she laughed and I laughed with her. And I got to know a little bit, but I couldn't know everything because we had yet another meeting to go to. And I had yet another presentation to make. I'm the presenter for the 11 o'clock hour. And I do my presentation, and then I open the floor up for a Q&A session. And hands go up, and hands go up. And Angela's hand went up. And there was another young lady to my left that she had her hand up, and I don't know, maybe I was smitten. I don't know what it was. But I acknowledged Angela, and she started talking. And then I noticed something, the look on the other young lady's face, and I realized that I had skipped her. So I said to Ann, I don't remember if I called her name or not. I don't even know if I even knew her name. Yeah, okay. By that point, I knew her name. Angela, hold on. And so I pointed to the other person, to the other young lady, and she spoke. And then I came back to Angela. And I watched everything she did. I watched everything about her. When I stopped her mid-sentence, she didn't get frustrated. She didn't have an attitude. She wasn't disturbed that I stopped her, that I started and then went to somebody else and then came back to her. She handled all of it gracefully. And I said to myself, wow, she's as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside. And I was really, really, really impressed, and I was being drawn in big time. We're back in the cafeteria. I am right back next to her because I want to see more. I want to hear more. It is at lunchtime that I discover that Angela has a boyfriend. Okay. All right. But I'm undeterred because I'm on a mission. And I just wanted to get to know her better. Because I didn't know what condition that relationship was in. And I was going to get close enough so I could find out. And then go from there. And we laughed and we talked and we joked and we had fun. She was fun to be around. I liked her personality. In fact, I liked everything I saw and observed. And you know what? That's the key word. It was observation. I go to my room after lunch. I lay down, I fall asleep, taking a little nap, and I hear voices. So I get up and I look out the window. And I see singles milling on the pier. So I immediately leave my room and go outside so I can hang out with them and meet and mingle with people. I leave my room and I rush right out and I come on the pier. I'm here on the pier. And I'm talking to two nice young ladies. We're having a nice conversation. But see, when you're old school like me, and you're from Florida, and the woman that you are smitten, and you're from New Jersey, and the woman that you're smitten by is from Florida, you gotta take every opportunity you can get in a weekend session. And lo and behold, Angela and Vivienne walk right past me, and they go to the end of the pier. I was cool. I was. I didn't bum rush her. I gave her all of 10 seconds. And then I said to the ladies, excuse me. And I walked down to the edge of the pier. And it was Vivienne and Angela. Vivienne and Angela. And I stood right in front of Angela and we talked. And we had a good time. And then it was time for us to go. Far too soon. But during that conversation, I discovered that, well, she discovered, because I said at first that I had a freshman daughter at Oakwood, and she shared that she had a freshman daughter at Oakwood. Oh, okay. She wasn't afraid of her age. She told me she's 39. I was 38. Oh, okay. Same age. And Vivine is walking ahead of us, and I'm walking behind. Angela and I are walking behind her, and we're talking. And we are talking about relationships. And girlfriend says something that absolutely blew my mind. And here's what I want to say to all of the single women out here. And please excuse, I got my hoodie on because I'm literally, I am on the water and it's windy out. I want you to be able to hear as best you can, okay? And just when we got right to the edge of the pier, we're about to walk on the grass and the sand, girlfriend says to me, I'm the marrying kind, and I know that I want to be married again. I said, whoa! Girlfriend knows exactly what she wants. Let me say this, ladies. I have a ministry exclusively for women, the Women's, plural, Empowerment HQ. All right? You can check it out, my YouTube channel. The Women's Empowerment HQ. And in my programs, I teach both single and married women the real man technique. It's the first technique I start with. And when I particularly teach single women that technique, and then they implement the technique, guys, if they're not scared away because the expectations are so high, guys are blown away. And they consistently say to my students, I have never in my life met a woman who knew what she wanted more than you, and they are drawn like magnets. I was drawn like a magnet because she knew exactly what she wanted. I had to see more. I had to know more. And I was going to accomplish that mission. It's Saturday night and it's game time. So we're playing games. And so Angela was like right in this area right here. And I was right behind her. Every group she was in, I was in. And then she was over here, and this was a movement game, and she trips and falls. And then she walks over here and sits down. And what did I do? I walked right over and I said to her, are you okay? Why? Because I was a gentleman and I was on it, like a bum on a bologna sandwich. Yes, I was. I checked out every movement she made. And she didn't some people call it stalking. It wasn't stalking. I was just checking a sister out. The last meal is over. It's Sunday morning. I go to take my tray back, and lo and behold, Angela's standing right in front of me. And we talk. We agree. No, I said, Angela, let's stay in touch after this weekend. She said, of course. Girlfriend had no idea what was building in my heart. She had no idea. Because, see, I'm from the old school. See, old school guys don't mess around. When we find someone that we like, we're attracted to, we put all our cards on the table and we go for it because we want to take you off the market. She had no idea that all of that was coming. But guess what? She would soon find out. It's Sunday morning. The meetings are over. And everyone huddles up right around in this area to exchange numbers on their booklets. And I come to that meeting, and it's my last opportunity, and I don't have Angela's number. And I'm not leaving here without it. So, we are, hold up, everybody's exchanging books and exchanging books. And a book comes along with her number, with her information on it. Angela Bodie. 1790 Northwest 3rd Avenue, Pompano Beach, Florida. No phone number. I said, man. And so, gotta do what you got. Brothers gotta do what a brother's gotta do. Went over to her. Said, Angela, I want to get your information. Angela Bodie, 1790 Northwest 3rd Avenue, Pompano Beach, Florida. 305-942-0785. Do you believe I still have this booklet from 30 years ago in pristine condition? Ladies and gentlemen, mission accomplished. Anna and her people, I meet them at the van. They're all packed up. They're just waiting for a couple of people, and they're going to get on the road. And I go down and I meet her, and I ask her, how long is it going to take you to get home? He said, oh, a few hours. She gave me the number. I forget how many. I don't know, 3-4 hours, whatever it was. Immediately, I looked at my clock. I looked at my watch. I'm on it. And another young lady gets in the car, and because we kind of walked up together, she just happened to walk up while I was walking up. They get in the car, in the van, and they pull off, and Angela said, you go, girl. Pastor Legette. You and Pastor Legette. And had no idea. She had no idea. I had been pursuing her all week long and had eyes only for her. But she would soon find out. All right, so now I'm live. This is me. All right, so I go to the van. I go to the van to see Angela off because I got to find out approximately how long it is going to take her to get to the house because I'm timing it. Elder Jackson has to take care of business with whatever he has to do to tie up loose ends at the resort, and then the three of us, him, Janice Brown, the other speaker, myself, we drive back 2 hours to the Orlando, Altamont Springs, Apopka area. I don't remember exactly what city he lived in, but Elder Jackson takes his family and myself to Olive Garden. And I'm sitting in Olive Garden, and I'm halfway in the conversation, but I'm watching my clock. I'm watching my watch. I don't know why I'm calling it a clock. I'm looking at my watch. And when I thought the timing was right, I said, excuse me. And I got up and I went and found the payphone, dialed her number. When a female answered the phone, and I said, hello, can I speak to Angela, please? She said, speaking. I said, do you know Do you know who this is? She said, keep talking. The voice sounds familiar. I said, I've been with you the entire weekend. She said, Pastor Legette? I said, yes. I said, look, let me see if I can do something about this son. All right, that seems to be a little bit better. I said, look, oh no, let me go back here. Okay. I said, look, I'm interested. I'm very interested. I know you have a boyfriend, but if that doesn't work out, I want you to know I'm interested and I want you to call me. And we talked for a little bit. We didn't talk that long. And, you know, I go back to the table. Next morning, I fly home. And I called her Monday and we talked an hour or two. And I called her Tuesday and we talked an hour or two. And it was Tuesday evening. She said to me, okay, I got to call my boyfriend because I believe in being above board and I got to let him know that I met somebody. Now, he did not want her to go to the singles retreat. And when she said she was going, he said, well, why are you going? She said, because I'm single, because they did not, there was no commitment. They were seeing each other, but there really was no commitment. She wanted it to go to the next level, but he always had an excuse, apparently. She said, I got to call him. I got to tell him. I called her Wednesday. We talked for an hour or two. Called her Thursday, Friday. I didn't call Sabbath because he came down on Sabbath. And then Saturday night, an incident that took place, and it frightened her. And the next morning, she ended the relationship and she called me. And we've been together from that day, November 17, until September 3rd, 2021, 2 months ago. Amen. 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 Now, I'm going to make a transition in the next few minutes before I conclude. And I am going to I'm all right here. Okay. I want to talk to, even though she cannot hear me, I want you to be clear. I'm going to talk to Angela, even though she cannot hear me, but you're going to hear me. And I'm hoping that at some point when we get to the kingdom, either number one, God will permit me to show her this video, or number two, all of you who are hearing this will tell her what I thought, will explain the depths of my love for her, and reveal how I conducted myself in her absence while she was in the grave. Because I want her to know. Because she doesn't know. Because the Bible is clear. Ecclesiastes 9, 5, 6, and 10. 5, 6, and 10. The living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything. Verse 10. Everything you're going to do, anything that your mind findeth to do it now. Because when you go into the grave, all brain function ceases. Psalms 117, the dead praise not the Lord. We're clear on all of those, okay? So this is not for Angela to hear. This is to put on record
so that hope one day in the future she will be able to hear where I was as it relates to her. And so I want you to know this. I just felt like making a connection with you. So I called my I called some of your family, and I called some of your closest friends. I called first Vivienne Lamard, who was at the retreat with you, and I met her when I met you. And I called our boy Solomon Cyril, and I talked to family members. And they revealed stories I've never heard before. They shared with me comments that people said about you, about how incredible you were. And I'm not surprised by any of it. And I can't even explain what I'm about to say to you right now because you're not here. But the more I hear about you, I'm falling in love with you all over again. And I want you to know this, that the contract that we signed November 29, 1992, it did not end, that contract did not end when they put you in the grave, put you in the casket, and they put you in the grave. Because here's what I want you to know. I want you to know that when they put you in the casket, my heart went into the casket with you and went into the ground with you. So I have no love for another woman because you possess my heart, and I won't get it back until resurrection morning. I won't get it back until resurrection morning. And I want you to know that if I live 2 more lifetimes, if the Lord delayed his coming, and somehow I became the oldest man who was ever, who lived in modern times, I want you to know that I'd wait for you because I love you that much. I want you to know that my lips and my limbs belong only to you. And I've got a wristband. When you were in the hospital, you had passed, you were laying on the table, and I came in and I rubbed your hair, and I held your hand, and I made you promises. And I said, the first time we meet, after we hug and kiss, I'm going to say to you, what's on this? Oops. Is what I'm going to say to you. I'm still here. That means I'm still your man. And on the other side, it says, we're all here, which means, because I made you a promise that I would see to it, that all our children and all our grandchildren would be present and accounted for. And we'll be reunited with our loved ones like PJ and mom and pop and everybody else who made their calling and election sure. And I want you to know as I conclude that as broken as I am, with this gaping wound in my heart, I know that there's a better day coming. And that better day is going to start on resurrection morning. And I know that you believe that. Better day when we get to the kingdom. But I got a question for you. So my question is, what is heaven going to be like? Yeah. And here's what I also know, that in the kingdom, you and I are going to get the opportunity of sitting together every Sabbath, just like we used to do when we were at Patmos and Mount Olive, when we took a sabbatical and moved to Winter Park. Finally, starting on resurrection morning, I know what's going to happen. From now to eternity, we're going to be all over each other. And I want you to know that I've been honored to be your man for the last 30 years. I've been honored. I've been blessed and highly favored. But I'm not satisfied with 30 years. Because starting resurrection morning, I want to spend the next 30 million years the man on your arm, because I love you that much. And I'm waiting for you to open your eyes again. And we'll spend the ceaseless ages of eternity with each other, never to part again. Amen. 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 I want to, as I conclude, I want to thank I want to thank the incredible people and staff that runs the Lake Placid Camp and Conference Center. They welcomed me with open arms. I want to thank Anthony, the director. I want to thank Candy, the admin. These are the most incredible people you'll ever want to meet anywhere. And if you have a singles group, I invite you to Google, or just contact me. I'll give you the number, but you can Google Lake Placid Camp and Conference Center. These are godly people. These are great people. They came out. Some of them came out. They gave me the run of the campground. And some of them just came out because they heard of me and heard about the story, just to greet me and welcome me. So if you have a singles group, contact them. After all, you just might meet your husband or your wife. And even if you have a married couples group, you will enjoy the atmosphere. They will make you feel welcome. They're that great. And so I want to thank all of you for the last, for 24 hours putting up with me with all of these technical issues. But this is a statement that I wanted to make to the woman that I love. And now I want to end with a song that says everything that I wish I could have written, but I don't have the skills to write. So, sweetheart, here's a song. You know how much we love Wintley. The song is entitled Always. Check this out. Oh, is it going to play?
When you're feeling down and it just seems your world is falling all around, no need to fear, I'll still be there to love you when your friends are gone and it just seems like you've been fighting all alone. I'll dry the tears, I'll still be there to love you, even though sometimes you feel it hurts to be alone. But I know that one day soon all the pain will be behind us. No more sadness will find us. Will find us. Remember this. It won't be long. We'll be together. You just keep holding on until that day. You'll hear me say, I love you. Always. We'll be together. And we'll be going home until that time when we meet face to face. We're going to sing about the miracle of grace. But until then, know this, my friend, I love you always.
All right, Annie. Rest on. I'll see you in the morning. Love you. Thanks, everybody.